Right? So we are now taking constitution. What did I say? Constitution. Okay, as part of government learning, we need to also learn what constitution means. And you can see a very beautiful diagram here of a book stating certain constitution of a country. And you can see how beautiful this diagram is. Alright, we want to look at the subject of discussion, things we are going to talk about on constitution. We'll look at the meaning, the definition of constitution, and the sources where we get constitution. After that, we'll now look at the functions of constitution. After that, that will now lead us to the various types and features of written, unwritten, rigid, and flexible constitution. Alright, so let's now take the meaning or definition of constitution. A country's constitution is the body of basic laws, principles, conventions, rules, and regulations which govern the country. That is, the laws by which everybody is living their life on in a country, documented down either in a paper or in a write-up somewhere or in a book. Such laws, principles, convention, rules by which a country is being governed, ruled, and controlled is known as law. It is a document that establishes the institutions of government, okay, and defines their powers. It establishes the various institutions of government, the executive, the legislature, the judiciary. The law instituted them and then states the powers they have, as well as the relationship between the various organs and agencies of government. Okay, the organs of government, the agencies of government. It states their powers, it states their laws, it states what they must do and what they shouldn't do. It also contains the rights and duties of country leaders, the right of the president, what he can do, what he must not do. If he goes against his right, then immunity will not cover him, but he is going to be punished in accordance to the law. The constitution is superior to all its other laws. It's superior to all its other laws. That's constitution for you. But please take note, there is something I want to quickly correct us when we're looking at communalism. Is it communism or fascism? Yes, when we're looking at fascism. Is it? Let's check back. Okay. Glorifies true war. Let's check back. Okay, I think it should be feudalism. Let's check feudalism. Yeah, feudalism. When we're looking at the characteristics, this place is feud, not serf. The right spelling is F-E-I-F. You understand? Feud. They are also called tenant, not serf. Please, this is wrong, and this is the correct one. Feud. They are also known as tenant of those days, that obtain land from the overlords or landlords. Please take note of that. Okay, so we can now go to constitution. Just as we have been saying, we have looked at the meaning just now, that it is the rules and regulation guiding the people in the country, or the rules and regulation, laws, principles, convention upon which the government of a country use in governing the people. Alright, so let's now look at the sources of the constitution. Where do we get constitution? Number one, we get constitution from legislation. These are bills passed into laws in the parliament. Okay, from the policies made that are passed into laws, we get constitution. We also get constitution from convention, from customs and conventions. Constitution derive also from customs and conventions which are strictly obeyed in the society. or which have not been written down. Some of these conventions has not been written down, but they are strictly obeyed in the society. We get constitution from judicial precedent. Constitution derive much of their provisions from the court's judgment passed on every important subject. Sometimes, when certain people do certain things, and the judge, through their intelligence of the law, gives certain judgment, that judgment becomes a precedent of how a case will be treated, and then it now forms a constitution or a law that will guide the people in the state. Please take note of that. We also have international documents. The provisions of important documents such as the UN Conventions on Human and People's Rights form part of the Constitution. Please take note, all United Nations Convention has now formed part of the Constitution. Alright, so we have number 4, past experiences. What did I say? Past experiences. The geographical, historical, political, and economic, social, religious experience of people also help to shape the constitution of a what? Country. Take note of that. Intellectual works too. Ideas are sometimes borrowed from the works of political thinkers. Those ideas, the likes of A.B. Dicey, Karl Marx, Thomas Hobbes in constitution making, etc. Sometimes all these good political thinkers, when government want to make certain policies and laws, they get them involved and get their own opinion about it, and then use it to form a policy, a law in the country. Alright, so let's now see the functions of constitution. What role does constitution play in the society? It projects the form of government in which in the country. Whatever kind of government that is in operation is always projected and stated in the constitution. Alright, it ensures the fundamental rights to its citizens. It ensures that fundamental rights of its citizens are not denied. Once it is denied, such person has right to take such issue to the court for it to be addressed, and then so that the person will be given his right and he will be able to enjoy his right. It also directs the state in making legislations. Constitution help in giving a country a directive on how laws should be made. Number 4 function is that it lay out procedures for several functions, administrations, legislations, executions of the government machineries. So let's take note of that. It's very, very important. Alright, what are other functions of the government? It provides for separation of powers. Alright, if a power is separated, it will be stated in the Constitution. If not, it will also be stated in the Constitution. Alright, it provides for the separation of powers and not fusion of powers. It provides for independence of each organ, say the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. It provides for the independence of the legislature or the organs of government. It also provides for the separation of powers between them. Alright, having seen the above functions of constitution, let's now look at the various types of constitution. Number 1, we have the written constitution. The written constitution is defined as a document or set of documents establishing the selection of rules embodied in documents which the organization of a political system, powers of the various agencies are written down and codified. Okay, when we say written constitution, it is the body of rules and regulation, convention, norms, which governs a country, or which is used by the government of a country to govern the country, that has been documented in a codified form. It has been documented and placed in a codified form. Such is known as written constitution. All written constitutions are documented and coded, but non-written might be written somewhere, but it has not been documented into one document and coded. The 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has been documented and coded into one book. So we can say Nigeria is practicing written constitution, or Nigeria is using a written constitution. We have what we call unwritten. It is defined as one in which the fundamental principles of organization and powers of government are not codified in one document. Okay, this one is codified in one document. Rules and regulations guiding the people of a country is codified in one document. The other is not codified in one document. Okay, but they are written and scattered. So we call it unwritten because all the informations are not gathered and arranged into one booklet. That is why we call it unwritten. Okay, it is usually a combination of statutes, judicial precedents, customs, conventions, which guide the operation of government. Let's now look at the third one. Rigid constitution is defined as one that is very difficult to amend. Any constitution that you cannot amend or is very difficult to amend is a rigid constitution. And a democratic state does not need a rigid constitution, so that such constitution will be able to absorb new changes in the economic for the betterment of the life of people, and so that people will not just be prosecuted wrongly when there are economic challenges and solutions are now there to resolve them. Okay, that's that. So any constitution that is not easy to amend or change is a written constitution, rigid constitution. Let's now see flexible. This is defined as a type of constitution that is easily amended. You can easily amend if the method of the amending the constitution is the same as of the passing of ordinary law. The constitution is said to be flexible. Any constitution that can be easily changed, amended when circumstances in the economy changes, such constitution is flexible. But any constitution that cannot be changed is not flexible. The next one, we are looking at the features of constitution. Number one, it contains fundamental principles and objectives of the state and its ideology. That is ideology rather, not an objectives of the state, that is ideology. Okay, so the fundamental principles and objective of a country, that is their ideology, their political ideology. Constitution states the political ideology of a state. That's one feature. A constitution of a country specifies the rights and duties of citizens. Another feature is that it specifies the rights and duties. Number one, it states the fundamental principles of political theory, beliefs, ideology of the people of a state. Then number 4 or 3, it states the type of government to be adopted in a country or that is being adopted. The type of government that is being adopted in a country, or either type of government to be adopted or being adopted in a country. Okay, it establishes the political structure of a country. For example, the federal or unitary. Where we are practicing unitary, the political structure will change. Where we are practicing federal, the political structure will change. We heard of some group and race saying Nigeria should carry out reconstruction. This is what they are talking about. A change from decentralized to centralized government, federal to unitary government. Okay, number 5. It defines the political institutions, including their functions. It defines political institutions, including their function. That is, the legislative, executive, and judiciary. The functions has been defined by the Constitution. Okay, then number 6, it states whether the legislature is unicameral or bicameral. Okay, so let's take note of that. It's very important. That is Constitution for you.